This is the SQL Server index maintenance module, and in this video I will demonstrate how to use this alter index reorganize method to maintain the index leaf level pages. So when we are applying this index reorganize method, how the fragmentation will be affected on the leaf level of the indexes. So let's move to the SQL Server Management Studio, and we will check there. This is the SQL Server Management Studio, and I will create in this Management Studio, which is the SQL Server 2017 Standard Edition. I will create a database trading DB, and then I will use this trading DB, and in this DB I will create a table. This table have the fields item ID, dates, item code, and description. Item IDs have the type of unique identifier, and this is the default is new ID, and this will be the this item ID will have the cluster index. So we will use this field as a cluster index, and dates is the date type time column, and item code is the character type column with the fixed size 20, and description is the this is a lobe type, which is the have the type worker max. So this will be this I'm using the SQL Server 2017, and these types we can use in the SQL Server, and we can apply this index maintenance method reorganize for this one for this these types. But this makes these lobe types in the old versions 2005 2008 we cannot use this type for the index reorganize method. And in this video I will also demonstrate that how the types this our column types will also affects the this fragmentation. So we have to use the proper types for the indexes. If we are going to create the index on a particular column, so the type will also be have the importance. So we should have to choose the proper type. So now I have one table with the name of products, and in this table I have the column item ID with the type is unique identifier, and I will create another table with the name of products too, and in this the same column have the type int, and I will create on the cluster index on these columns, and then we will see which column is affects the which column will be more fragmented uh, in the indexes. So let's first create the table products with the primary clustered key on this item ID. I can use the non-cluster index as well on this item code, which is a worker type. And now I will create another table just to show that the if we will not choose the proper type, then it will affect the index fragmentation. So this is the second table is the products too, and here everything is the same except that the item ID which is used for the cluster index have the different type than the previous table. So here I created this second table with the primary key clustered on item ID, and now I will insert the data in these two tables. So I will add the 50,000 records less than 50,000 in both tables, then I will see what are the effects on the index leaf level related to the fragmentations. So let's add the records. It will take some time. So the near 50,000 records have been inserted in these two tables, and now let's see the leaf level of the index to study the fragmentation and page density. This is the script which we will use. to get the information related to the fragmentation and page density in this current database. And this is the view name which will give us the information related to the fragmentation and page density. And here I'm passing the parameter detailed. We can use the sampled also, but the detailed will give us the more accurate data. And I'm using here the index level is equal to 0, which means that get the fragmentation page density only at the leaf level. So let's execute this script in this trading DB. It will give the leaf level index information. This is the PK underscore product is the cluster index on the products table. And this have the 99 fragmentation, which is very high fragmented, and these much are the pages for reserved for this index, and there is the page density 69. And now this is the cluster non-cluster index on this same table, and it's also highly fragmented with the page density 68. And then the second table, the first table has this index is on the key, item ID column, and this type has the unique identifier, and it's when we are using this type it's highly fragmented. And when I'm used another table which have the same field names, but the this cluster index on this item ID have the type integer. So just I change the type from unique identifier to integer and then see the results. When I use the unique identifier, it's highly fragmented. When I use the type integer with an identity, and there is no fragmentation. So just choosing the proper types for the uh, index, we can avoid the fragmentations. We can get the performance if we will just spend some time to choose the proper data type. So now because these are highly fragmented, for the fragmentation greater than 30%, it's better to use the rebuild method instead of the reorganize, because the reorganizing only shuffles the pages, while the rebuild will recreate the structure. So if it's highly fragmented, the reorganize will take more time to reshuffle. But let's for this testing purpose apply this reorganize method and see what are the effect after applying this on. I'm going to reorganize only this index peak underscore products. So let's see what is the effects on the fragmentation and on the page density after reorganizing. In the reorganizing method, when we are using, we are not specifying the fill factor for the page density. So this is the limitation on while we are using the reorganizing, we cannot specify the fill factor. So let's copy first these results so that we can compare. I'm using this in the Excel. And now apply the reorganize method on this cluster index. It will take some time because it's highly fragmented. And now let's see again what are the effects on the index leaf level. The same script I will execute again. I applied the this reorganize method on this cluster index on that products table. So now after applying this one, before applying the fragmentation on this same index, this PK underscore products, the fragmentation was 99.34% and page density was 69. So after applying this index maintenance method, Now that this index is have no fragmentation, it's ignorable, and the page density is also affected because the page it's using its own method for the page density. We cannot control this page density in this reorganize method. So now the fragmentation is removed by using the reorganize method on this index. So this is the way we can apply the reorganize method for the index maintenance.